Hey, it's NFL draft season, and so we thought we'd get together and we'd talk to you about what we would look for leaders in the NFL draft, because some of the work that we do in the NFL with some of the teams that we look at. And recently had the opportunity to talk to all 32 teams, coaches from all 32 teams. And one of the scout coaches asked, hey, when we go talk to coaches, we usually ask about the leadership qualities of a guy. We ask, hey, does he lead by example? Is he a verbal leader? Is he a non-verbal leader? What would you recommend? And I said, I don't think those are the right questions. I think the question you ask the coach is, how does he make his teammates better? And I don't mean he allows, he opens the field so he allows us to throw the deep ball, or he allows the run because of this. What I mean is, how does he develop those around him? How does he inspire his teammates? How does he correct his teammates? How does he talk to his teammates? What are his interactions look like as a leader with his teammates? But Jim, you just got done with the Major League Lacrosse draft. And I'm curious, when you talk to players, because you're doing a little bit different, you're talking to coaches, but you're also talking directly to players. What are some of the things that you ask the player for you to determine if you think he'd be a good leader for your team?
I think it's an easier question for coaches because they have an idea, or at least a vision, for what leadership looks like on their team. But at the same time, they're also looking for someone who is going to fit their culture. Because if they have a strong culture, it's really important to bring in the right people. I would ask the prospective player a few questions about leadership to get an idea of how they think about leadership and what leadership means to them, because that tends to be how they're going to, or it tends to mirror their leadership style. So I would ask the player, what is your idea of leadership? What would a leader look like to you? What type of skill set do they bring to the table? And some may come back and say, like, I love leaders by example. But leaders by example, it can be selfish. It could be someone who simply just does what they're supposed to do, and they do all the right things.
Absolutely.
And then it could be someone will tell you, look, I love guys who motivate me. Well, motivation can be interesting, right? Number one, motivation's temporary, not sustainable. And number two, it tends to be negative. Yeah. So, what do you mean by motivation? What motivates you?
What does that look like?
That guy who's going to push you and kick you, or the guy who brings you out and does extra reps with you and keeps you later in the weight room. And helps you in the film room. And then, finally, it's, I think one of the things you look for is the people who use words like inspirational, all right? People who make me better, players who inspire me by supporting me, by helping me, by working me through my mistakes, and by being positive when I do make a mistake, and help me to learn from that, and taking me aside and doing those extra reps with me. Because to your point, those are the people that make a team better, and they certainly make for a strong culture.
Absolutely. Well, so as you're watching the draft over the next day, take a look at who your team is picking up, and don't look at them just for their capability, right? Look at them for their capacity. What's their capacity to lead? What does it look like? How does this guy have what it takes to lead my franchise? And when you're thinking about your own leadership, whether that's in the boardroom or the classroom or even on the battlefield, what does leadership look like to you? And how do your people explain it? Talk to you soon.